You are now listening to Hinckley Community Radio, a non-profit podcast radio station.
On the 8th of October 2009, or around that date, Bobby Jamison, his wife Sherilyn, and their daughter Madison mysteriously disappeared. At the time they vanished, the family was reportedly considering the purchase of a large 40-acre plot of land near Red Oak, about 30 miles or 48 kilometres from Eufaula. Their remains were found just over 4 years later, in the November of 2013, and positively identified by the Oklahoma medical examiner on the 3rd of July 2014. While it was impossible to determine each individual's cause of death, they were believed to have all been murdered. This, and the circumstances surrounding the disappearance, remain unknown to this day. Greetings, paranormal peeps. My name is Mark Hughes. I am an 80s music fan, a crime buff who loves a good conspiracy, but also wonders if I went to see the doctor about my short-term memory problem, would he make me pay in advance? Tonight, I'm going to tell you about the strange, unexplained story of the Jamison family disappearance. But first, I will give you the necessary disclaimer. This story is a tale that sadly involves a child and may prove upsetting to some. You listen at your own discretion. Also, all opinions and comments are strictly my own, but the facts still remain true to this day. I also apologise if I pronounce any of the names incorrectly. My English, although it is my first and only language, doesn't stop my teeth from falling out sometimes. So, back to the story. On the 8th of October 2009, Bobby Jamison, 44, Sherilyn Jamison, 40, and Madison Jamison, 6, lived in the town of Eufaula, Oklahoma, some 30 miles from where their bodies were found, in an area of the San Bios mountain range called Red Oak. The family travelled there because Bobby and Sherilyn were contemplating purchasing a large 40-acre plot of land. The plan was to live in a storage shed that the family already owned. This may have been a spur-of-the-moment decision, as Sherilyn's son Colton, who was from a previous relationship, saw his mother a couple of weeks prior to the family's disappearance and said that Sherilyn had made no mention of any relocation plans that the family may have had. So the Jamison family, with their dog Maisie, loaded their pickup truck, headed into the mountains, and were never seen alive again. The disappearance. After no one had heard from the Jamison family for several days, an earnest search began for the family. Whilst hunting for their whereabouts for over a week, finally, on the Saturday 17th of October 2009, hunters on dirt bikes ran across the Jamisons' abandoned truck in Latimer County, northwest of Red Oak, and called the police and report the vehicle. Based on the contents of the truck, it didn't appear that the Jamison family planned on being away for long, as they had very little on them in the vehicle. Initially, the police thought the vehicle must have been stolen, as the report suggested the truck to have only been on the roadside for a few hours, though later that day the same hunter called back to confirm to police that he had seen it there abandoned for a number of days. Now, this is where things start to get a little odd. The initial investigation into the Jamison family disappearance indicated to the police that they probably hadn't vanished of their own accord. The police found no signs of a struggle either in the vehicle or outside on the soft ground around the truck. There was no blood, no broken glass, just rubbish thrown around the vehicle. The police found both Bobby and Sherilyn's cell phones and the family's ID cards, along with their wallets, Sherilyn's purse, a GPS, some maps, $32,000 in cash stuffed under the driver's seat, and the family's very much alive but unfortunately very malnourished dog. The truck itself was in good condition, full working order, had fuel, and showed no signs that an accident had occurred. Friends and family were stunned by the $32,000 in cash that was found in the truck, as both Bobby and Sherilyn were on disability benefits at the time they disappeared, and nothing is recorded as a payout to Bobby from an earlier car accident that he'd had. Where had the money come from? It was a mystery. Had the cash been the result of the couple's involvement in drug dealing? Those who knew Bobby and Sherilyn struggled to accept that the couple would have brought their young daughter with them to conduct a drug deal. And anyway, the Jamisons were not known for carrying large amounts of cash around with them. Strangely enough, one of the other things investigators found in the truck was an 11-page hate letter from Sherilyn to Bobby. She said she didn't care about his daughter. She listed all the things she hated about Bobby, including that he was a loner and a hermit, and she also wrote that she wanted a divorce. Sherilyn's friend, Nikki Shenold, explained away the hateful letter that Sherilyn wrote to her husband by saying this:
She would write things down when they came into her mind, but then she would move on. She loved Bobby.
And when the police checked the phone records of one of the mobile phones found in the truck, they found that it had made an outgoing call to a voicemail on November the 12th, although it had been locked inside the abandoned truck at the time. Latimer County Sheriff Israel Bucamp at first also thought the truck had been stolen, but soon realised something far more serious had taken place. He launched a huge search operation and combed the area with over 400 volunteers, horses, mules, ATVs, 16 teams of cadaver dogs, and an unmanned drone. During the searches, the cadaver dog teams repeatedly found scent near a nearby water tower, which was promptly drained. I do apologise. Though no evidence concerning the missing family can be found. It is water I'm drinking, not vodka. In fact, they found nothing. So, let's fast forward 4 years. Although the police located the Jamisons' truck, their starving dog and other belongings, it would not be until the 16th of November 2013 that the Jamisons' bodies were found just 2.7 miles from where the truck was located. On that day, the hunters discovered the skeletal remains of 2 adults and 1 child. They were in the Smokestack Hollow area of Panola Mountain. The area was extremely remote, and the 3 bodies were severely decomposed. The remains consisted of 3 skulls, a number of bones and bone fragments, the victim's shoes, and some scraps of clothing. Forensic testing finally confirmed 8 months later that the remains belonged to Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison Jamison. It had been 4 years since the Jamisons had vanished from the truck when it was found. Were they murdered? Lost in the woods? Was it suicide? Or were they taken out by drug dealers? When questioned, why the initial search had found nothing, Assistant Special Agent of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation told reporters that falling leaves potentially obscured the bodies. Seriously? That's as bad as trains being delayed due to leaves on the line in England. They should have found the bodies on that original search. Due to the extensive decomposition that had occurred on the bodies in the 4 years since their disappearance, with no soft tissues present to analyse, and with significant animal predation, it was deemed impossible to determine the cause of death. Though Bobby's skull did have a small hole that was initially suspected as being a bullet wound. The police, however, dropped this line of inquiry, even though the hunters who found the bodies disagreed with them. Medical examiners ruled their cause of death as inconclusive, and the case has become one of America's most bizarre mysteries. With nothing but 3 skeletons to go on, the police were forced to dig deep into the family's background. But what they found raised more questions than answers. After a short break, we will look at the Jamison family themselves and some of the strange footage that can be found online of the families packing up to leave.
This show is brought to you by courtesy of Neil Packer and the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. Find them online at www.hauntedresearchcentre.com or at 9 to 11 Regent Street, Hinckley, LE10 1AW. Open Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for Haunted Rooms guided tours, just £3 per person. Booking is essential at all times and over 16s only, unless accompanied by an adult. The haunted rooms are extremely haunted, and paranormal activity could, and has, taken place at any time. Some areas and particular objects or items can be quite scary and unnerving. The Gift and Craft Shop is open daily from Monday to Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m, selling a wide variety of paranormal items, books, magazines, merchandise stock, and cats. Why not pay them a visit to pick up a gift with a difference? Membership is available for £25 to qualify for selective discounts. And why not download the app, available on iOS and Android, for only $3.99. To keep up to date with what's coming up at the centre.
Fright Nights was established in 1999 and was the first company in the world to offer overnight ghost hunt experiences to the general public, pioneering paranormal events since the last century. Now, over 23 years old, hundreds of ghost hunts join Fright Nights every month for the most thrilling ghost hunting experience worth remembering. If you have never been on a ghost hunt before, then why not join them on an event to see what it's all about? Fright Nights currently operate at hundreds of the UK's most haunted and exclusive venues with their teams of experienced paranormal investigators, mediums, and psychics. You are guaranteed a quality night of ghost hunting unequaled by any other company. They have a VIP members club for regular returning guests, offering discounts and exclusive event invitations. And they can host private events for you and your friends, clubs or work colleagues. They have also expanded their new Friends of Fright Nights pages with many more new things to come. So why not book early with a small deposit so you don't miss out? The balance is due 28 days prior to the event. Contact them on 078 852